Welcome back, familiar to Northside LDN. Caramba, we are back. And big up to Dan. How you doing, Dan, bro?
I'm all right now, bruv. Like, the reason we're late, people, is because of me. I don't know what my laptop was doing. The tech issues were just on a mad one. I had to restart my computer. Maybe I'm doing too many streams. That's what it's probably telling me. I need a break. My computer's going to go kaput on me. But yeah, I've not been on this new software. So I was kind of struggling on what to do. But appreciate your help, bro. And I'm here now. And thank you for having me on, man.
Nah, all blessed, man. All blessed every single time, man. Make sure you're subscribing to Dan Football's 12th Man. The link is in the title. And yeah, let's get straight to it. We got limited time. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Dan, I ain't even heard your thoughts on the Chelsea game, man. I mean, where do you stand before this international break? 1-0 against Chelsea. You trust in the process? Hey, we did it. We're going to do this.
The process is done, bruv. Nah, listen, fam. I'm going to be really honest. I didn't go to the game because I was at my bro stag do, right? So we had a stag weekend. It was good fun. I am so glad that I didn't go. I sold my ticket to my mum. I actually felt for my mum. I had to put her through that rubbish, right? That was one of the stinkiest games I've ever seen. And how the mighty have fallen. I grew up with the Chelsea and Arsenal scenario, right? Of, it's going to be Henry versus Drogba. Before that, it was Bergkamp and Zola. I had Lampards and Fabregases and Patrick Vieira's and Claude Makelele's. And now we've gone to, wait for it, Northside, Mikel Merino and Pedro Neto, right, are the two strikers at these two dusty clubs. What is happening here? Now, at least with Chelsea, they've got a few injuries and whatnot. We literally have got Saka and Havertz out. That's it. Yeah. And this is what we're putting out. These are the performances that I'm seeing. The football's boring. It's predictable. It stinks. It's not exciting. It's uninspiring. It's deflating. And people are like, really happy that we've won 1-0 and the scenes outside, they're like, wow, we've beaten Chelsea. Look, it's always good to get one over Chelsea, but we should have battered them. They're terrible. Chelsea are a mess, bro. They're absolutely awful. They've got a clowning goal. They've got a centre-back partnership who can't, well, in my opinion, can't lace the boots of anywhere near some of the legends they've had in Marcel Desailly and Frank Leboeuf and John Terry and Ricardo Carvalho, the guys that I looked at and feared, yeah? And now you go into their midfield, and I think it's decent when everyone's actually fit. I think Caicedo, Lavia, and Palmer are all ballers. But you take one of the components out and it doesn't look balanced. Enzo Fernandez has got a bit better, but he was just going around kicking people. And then they've got a front three, which is laughable, bruv. So we should have easily destroyed them, and we end up winning 1-0 from, let's be real, it was a Merino flick on, and it went in. That's how we won the game. So I'm just tired, bro. I'm just so tired of this season. I'm sick of our fans. I'm sick of our fan base just coming at me all the time when all I want to do is win a damn trophy. It's not like I'm asking for a quadruple here, bruv. Do you know what I mean? I just want to win a trophy. Like, if I was coming on going, we've won 3 trophies and I wanted 4, like, get rid of all this, like, people. I'd be thinking, crikey, this guy's never happy. I just want 1. I've waited 21 years for a Premier League. I've waited over 30 now for a Europa or a Champions League or a League Cup and 5 for an FA Cup. And people call me entitled. Get out of here, man. Real talk.
Listen, I hear it, bro. And this is the thing, yeah. It's like I got to the point where even the screaming and the shout, I don't feel. I can't be bothered. I genuinely can't be bothered anymore because it's like people sometimes misconstrued my temper, my anger when it comes to Arsenal, and it's he's always angry. And this is why I'm angry. This is why. You know what I mean? 15 points behind Liverpool. People are telling us that we're going to do something against Real Madrid. We couldn't even finish off Chelsea. How many opportunities did Trossard have to bury his chances? How many did Moreno? I mean, Moreno, to be fair to him, I actually didn't criticize him because he's doing the job that ain't his job. And he actually scored 1 out of the 2 opportunities. The one in the far post, he could have tapped it in, but it is what it is. I'm not going to get onto players that are playing that position when it's not their fault. But Martinelli, you had a load of opportunities to score. Declan Rice, you had opportunities to score. Odegaard, you were in the box and an opportunity to score. And there's no power, no placement in that shot. And people want to tell us that we're going to finish off Real Madrid, and Real Madrid aren't the same. Well, we're no different. We are no different than other seasons. Not prepared. We don't have a clinical goal scorer. The bench looks a joke. And we're winging it. This is a Chelsea that, even though both teams, for me, didn't play that great, there was about 6 opportunities from different players against Chelsea that we could have buried, and we only scored 1 goal. Now, we're going up against Courtois. We're going up against Asensio, great centre-back for Real Madrid. We got Rudiger, Do you know what I mean? These are the defenders. These are the players that were going up against Camavinga. Players like that. And I'm telling you something, Dan, yeah? If Real Madrid performed the way they did in the second leg against Man City, we are getting cooked. They have been very up and down, but one thing they have, world-class manager. They've got the know-how. They've got the experience. They don't bottle it or play within themselves in big occasions, which is something that we've always done. Playing within ourselves in the last 20 years. Every single time there's pressure, we play within ourselves, which is why we couldn't beat Man United in the cup, why we were unable to overcome Newcastle 3 times this season. It's poor, Dan, bro. It's really poor. And the one thing that we bank on all the time is our defense. But the thing is listen, that defense this season hasn't been impenetrable. Bowen scored against us. Tielemans has scored against us. You know, Garnacho has put our defense to the, not to the sword, but he was cooking our defense. Hudson-Odoi's cooked our defense this season. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand this over-optimism by this fan base when we have failed to teams far inferior to Real Madrid under this regime, under this manager, in lesser competitions. I don't get where the optimism is coming from. For me to be optimistic as a person, I have to have something that I can truly believe in. And this squad and this manager isn't something that I believe in, because of how many times they've let us down and how ill-prepared we are. So I don't know, man. I mean, you're always streaming. You're streaming even more than me. I mean, what's the vibes that you've got from Arsenal fans after this Chelsea game, bro?
Bro, everyone's looking to welcome Mbappe to the Emirates, brother, and Vini Jr. to the Emirates. It's quite wild. Look, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit excited about the prospect of that as a kind of tie, because this is what we all dreamed about when we come to the Emirates. We all wanted to be coming up against them. The problem I've got is we're coming up against them in a place where we just know we're not going to get through, and we've got 2 legs. And the people will say to me that's very defeatist attitude, it's very negative, but the reason I have to be realistic with it is we weren't able to handle the pressure against Newcastle, home or away. We weren't able to handle the pressure against Manchester United, and we're coming up now against Real Madrid. So people will say to me, what do you mean you're not confident? Look at the team. It's all back now. Saka's coming back, which I'm sure we'll touch on. Havertz is the only one that's out now. That's not why I don't think we're going to win the league. Win. Because if I said to you right now, we haven't got any injuries in this Arsenal side, I still think that we will go out. A reason I will think we'll go out is because I've not seen that we can get across the line when the pressure is on. And I'm not even talking about getting across the line for a trophy here, bruv. I'm talking about getting across the line when it mentally is difficult. I've seen us go to grounds such as Anfield. I've seen us go to grounds such as Villa Park. I've seen us go to St. James's Park. I've seen us go to Stamford Bridge. I've seen us go to much, much worse teams off than Real Madrid and not come in and win. Hell, let's go to the Europa League and the Champions League games. We couldn't beat Porto at Porto. We couldn't beat Inter Milan at the San Siro. We weren't able to go to the Allianz. We weren't able to go and beat Olympiacos and Sporting Lisbon. We weren't able to go and beat Villarreal. Now, people will say it's different teams now, but it's still the same mentality and the same mindset, bruv. You still got the same manager. You still got the majority of the same players that haven't proven they can do that at the Bernabeu. So those are the reasons why I'm not optimistic. Now, of course, we can win because it's a tie. It's a Champions League game. Anyone can beat anybody. It's a knockout competition. But if I have to look at it realistically, the player quality is, of course, better, but the mentality is so much better because the majority of those have won La Ligas and Champions Leagues, right? With us, we can't get a League Cup over the line with this lot. So that's why I haven't got the optimism of some and the positive vibes of some. I also look, lastly, at the ability of the players and the way we're playing. Now, Real Madrid ain't even playing that well, bruv. Yeah. I've seen Real Madrid a few times this season, and I don't look impressed. I'm not like, wow, rah. They should have lost Atleti. But you know what they're like. They stink their way through it. They find a way, and they'll probably end up winning the Champions League again. And they'll probably end up winning La Liga because that's what their mindset and their mentality is. They've got an unbelievable manager with a CV that anyone would be proud of. They've got unbelievable talent. In their front line, they've got Mbappe, Vini, and Rodrigo, and we can't even stop Man United scoring a goal against us. So how are we going to stop them? Then you look into their midfield and it's absolutely stacked, whether it's Camavinga, whether it's Valverde playing at right back or in the middle, whether you're looking at Jude, whether you're looking at the likes of Modric, who's still there. Then at the back, we all know they're looking at centre-halves, but they've still got brilliant centre-halves. You've just mentioned Rudiger Asensio, and then that's without the likes of Valverde at the moment, who's absolutely killing it, by the way. What a wonderful footballer he is at right back. So I look now and I think, that's why I don't give Arsenal a chance across 2 legs. Whether Saka starts or comes on or plays a part of it, I don't think it actually matters. I think it gives us more of a chance because he's our only moments player and he's the one that can actually create something. But other than that, bruv, I'm not really particularly cool with it. And lastly, on Marino, I'm with you, bro. I don't blame him. I don't blame Marino. Marino was bought. He was a pretty average midfielder for £30 million. Ain't going to get you much more than an average midfielder nowadays for that money. He's come in and he's tried to play in that position, but unfortunately, he's been moved here, there, and everywhere. I've seen him playing the 6. I've seen him playing the 8. I've seen him playing the 10. I've seen him playing the 9. I've seen him playing the false 9. The other week against PSV, he was playing at right back, left wing. I don't know where this guy's supposed to be on the pitch. But if I said to you now, the sun's coming out, let's go cut your lawn, and I give you a lawnmower, you're going to do a good job. But if I give you a hacksaw, you're going to struggle. That's what we're doing now. We're playing Marino up top, and we're going to potentially go to the Bernabeu with him and. I mean, Curtis said to me a few weeks ago, "Oh my God, one day we're going to be." I said one day we were going to end up with Eddie and Nketiah going to the Bernabeu. We've ended up with Marino going to the Bernabeu. Bruv, it's mad. It's mad. And this is the position we put ourselves in. And that's not just on Arteta, by the way. That's on the board and the ownership as well in January. But we can go on to that another time. But for me right now, I don't have the faith because of those reasons, bruv. And it sounds very negative and I'm pessimistic, but I'd love to be more optimistic. Other than Ethan and potentially Saka, who we don't know what's going to come back, I don't see anybody putting the ball in the back of the net because Marino can do his best, but he's doing his best. Martinelli's fallen off a cliff, and as much as I like him, he wasted another couple of chances at the weekend. Trossard looks like he wants to leave. We've got Erdegaard, who's just waltzing around the place, who can't lead anyone at all. The guy's been the most disappointing player for me this season by far. And I don't think we're in a position to be confident, bruv. I think our defense is the only thing that gives us half a chance. So that's where I'm at, man. It's not very positive. Sorry, bro.
No, it's true. And this is the thing, yeah. Like, people want like us to change our mind on the manager. We'll start with the in-game management. You know, Chelsea were there and we could have put them to the sword. Why don't you take off Declan Rice that's getting into goal-scoring opportunities and not taking his opportunities and put in Zinchenko? Because Zinchenko played well against PSV and he was direct. Then play Zinchenko as an 8, then take off Odegaard that was doing absolutely nothing against Chelsea and put on Ethan, you know, because we keep playing him as a right winger. He didn't gather momentum and have the whole fan base, whether you're Arteta in, Arteta out, asking for the guy to have more minutes playing on the wing. He did it playing as a 10. And all of a sudden, our midfield is a lot more attacking. Partey could have sat back. Chelsea weren't doing anything to open us up. Chelsea wasn't testing David Raya. You could have been a bit more, Arteta could have been a bit more, you know, hungrier to get the 3 points and say, do you know what? Let's put them to the sword. Because we're going to have that kind of mentality against Real Madrid. If we're on top, we have to take our opportunities. And these are the things that frustrate me with Arteta. Trossard, he wasn't that great against Chelsea. Missing a lot of opportunities, giving the ball away, shots going wayward. Take him off, put Calafiori there. Calafiori occupies that wing position anyway on the left wing. So you might as well just put Calafiori on. Even with our disjointed bench and players that I don't think are all that we can still figure out how to be more attacking when we see blood. And that's the thing that I don't like about Arteta, is he's very cowardice in, oh, we got 1-0, we don't want to open up. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we were still creating the better opportunities of the game. Take off the players that are missing their opportunities, put on other players and try and put them to the sword. And I just feel like this manager is just way too shook, man. It's the same approach we had against Man United. And I just feel like the fact that you can't even figure out Eddie Howe just shows the level of this manager as himself. People talk about the squad. For me, Jose Mourinho at Chelsea was a difference maker. Jose Mourinho was a difference maker at Porto. Do you know what I'm saying? All these guys, bro, like even when you talk about Conte at Chelsea as well, changing to a back 3 after we beat them and then going on to win the league with none of his players. You know, they are the difference makers. Alex Ferguson was a difference maker at Man United. Yes, these managers have good players, but the manager knew how to figure out the games. He knew when to put on attacking players, when to rest players, when to utilize players, when to put players in certain systems or positions. Like the Arsenal fans always talk about the manager getting the players. It's all good getting the players, but is the manager good enough? Is his in-game management good enough? Does he identify? Arteta talks a lot about identifying the best for these players. You bought Mikel Moreno that's more effective as a striker than he is as a DM, and he still ain't the answer as a striker. But you bought him in as a DM. You bought Calafiori as a left back, and he's better as a winger. You bought Zinchenko as a left back, and he's better as a number 10. This is your player ID. You bought Kivior to rotate with Saliba and Gabriel, and yet he's nowhere near the level. Every single time we ask him to cover for one game, the guy looks horrendous, which is why you're trying to sell him. You bought Kai Havertz, you played him for the first couple of games and you bought him for 17 games, playing him in the midfield until you realize you can't shoehorn him into that midfield. Then you played him as a striker. It doesn't make any sense.
There's only three players, bruv, other than Raya. There's only three players that have actually played in their positions that were bought for. And that's Gabriel, Saliba, and Partey. And Saliba wasn't even bought by Mikel Arteta. Saka's another one. He wasn't even bought by Mikel Arteta. Yeah. Martinelli, another one. He wasn't bought by Mikel Arteta. So he's bought Kai Havertz as an attacking 8 and put him in the 9. Yeah. He's bought Martin Odegaard and stuck him as a creative 10 when he's clearly an attacking 8. He's bought Declan Rice as a 6 and playing him as the attacking 8. He's got Ben White, who was a centre-back, and he's put him at right-back, which, to be fair, is words, because he clearly wasn't a centre-back. And then he's got left-backs coming out of his backside, only to realise that after 15 of them, the 17-year-old was the best one, yeah, outside of Kieran Tierney, who is clearly the best one, and doesn't want to play him. You've got Zinchenko, who clearly everyone has been saying for 3 seasons, put him in midfield because he can't defend, and now he's starting to do it when he's leaving. Seriously, mate, it's the man management is all over the place. Tactically, we are so bad to watch. Like, we know exactly what we're doing. Gabriel and Saliba are on the beach. It's like they're like, you know, when like you go to that lovely beach, like maybe let's just say like Miami or something, and you're with your boy and you're just kicking the ball on the beach. That's what them two do at the back. They just sit there together, passing it back between themselves. And then you've got literally, it goes into your midfield. Partey, by the way, I think has been really good this season. You've got Declan Rice, who is not a Cesc Fabregas. Yeah, he is a Michael Carrick type player. Or Rodri, yeah, he's not in that bracket or level, but he's clearly that attributes. And then you go to Odegaard, and all he does is spin around on the ball, turn around on the ball, and pass it back to Declan Rice. Declan Rice goes back to Trossard. Trossard comes back and passes it back to Declan Rice. And there's nobody to go for. Since Mourinho has actually been up top, the reason we were told he was there was because he was an auxiliary Fellaini type striker with some physical attributes and presence. We haven't given him any crosses in the ball yet once. So as much as I laughed at that and said, God, that's going to work, I haven't even really seen it try to work, because other than the Leicester header and the one that he flicked on from a corner, how many times have we whacked it in the box for him? And then when we did finally, or have we, there's not just one game, there's been 3 or 4 games where Tierney's come on at left wing and has put in delightful crosses. It's been Trossard in there or one of the shorter guys. And you're like, what's going on here, man? The only time that we've actually got someone delivering now, Mourinho is back in midfield. It's just all over the place, North. I don't get it, brother. I'm sitting there believing that we've got another few seasons with this manager, and I think we should sack him if we go out to Real Madrid. Real talk. Get rid of him. Sack him. Bring in Simone Inzaghi. Bring in Diego Simeone alongside Andrea Berta, and go and get a serious summer. Actually buy a couple of attackers instead of trying to make do with Sterling, Willian, all these mad signings he's been making. Go and get an Isak. Go and get a Gyökeres, yeah. If you can't get those two, then you start looking at where you go down from there in terms of could be getting Osimhen. Don't go into the Sesco's 21 years old who's not ready yet and crap. I don't want all this again, man. We need to be bringing in the summer players that are ready now. So that's what should be happening. But we know that's not going to happen, bro. He's on 15 mil a year. He ain't going to walk like Matty thinks. He's going to stay for another few seasons. It's just all doom and gloom, bro, because we've just wasted another season, bruv. I get so tired of this every single, and we don't even have any trophy to say. You know, like Newcastle can look at their season now and go, rah, we've got a League Cup, first in 70. Yeah, we're frustrated with a league position, but we can still get Champions League. You've got Aston Villa that are looking at it thinking, league position ain't great. We could still get Europe or Champions League, but at least we're in a quarterfinal of the FA Cup against Preston, which is pretty much a guaranteed semi-final. And they're in the Champions League against a PSG team that I have faith that Emery could actually get past over 2 legs. We're in a situation, it's like we're at the League Cup, we're at the FA Cup again. We're not in a league title and never have been, and we're 12 points off of Liverpool, which is a disgrace in itself, by the way. And then we get to the quarterfinals again. Last year it was Bayern Munich, this year it's Real Madrid. And no one has faith we're going to get through. And people are saying, give it more time, give it more time. I'm sick of giving it time, bruv. I've been giving it time for 20-odd years. When are we actually going to win something, bruv? Real talk, man.
This is what I mean, yeah. Like I completely agree, bro. Like people are talking about, oh yeah, you know, Berta's gonna come in and he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. Based on what? Based on what? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, Dan, yeah, it's the same people running the show that gave Arteta a new contract at the start of the season, that's backed every signing, that is not holding him accountable. If they do not sack him when we don't win anything at the end of the season, Berta's not here to change up anything. Berta's here to just assist Arteta. He's not here to hold him accountable. Because how can people sit there and say, oh, well, Berta's going to change things up and the ownership want to change things up. But then if Arteta doesn't win anything, oh, you get another season. Is that holding him to account? Is that holding the manager to account based on what he's been given? I don't think so. And what I find funny is this fan base now are all listing Berta players. Oh, we bought this player, that player. I get it when you do it. I get it when I do it, because we've been saying we want someone with experience. But it's funny that when it's a sporting director, we want a CV. We want someone that's been there and done that, has experience, has got over the line, has won things, have brought in players to win things. But when it's our manager, oh no, we don't want a CV. Yeah, we're on phase 5. Well, why did you want a phase 5 sporting director? It doesn't make sense. You want experienced players that are world class. You want a sporting director that's world class and that's got a CV. But your manager, he can be a novice. He's learning on the job. How does that make sense?
That's so true, bro. That is so true, bro. I didn't even think about that. Everyone's excited for Berta. Why? Not because he's Pep's boy or the cone man or the one that everyone thinks is going to be great in 10 years. He's the one who's done it. He's worked alongside one of the greats in Diego Simeone, who, by the way, I said Arsenal should go and get, and everyone told me was washed and can't do anything. For me, this is what I don't get. You say to these people, who do you want then? Right? They ask you who you want. Everybody you give, doesn't matter what name, you can give any name, pluck it out of the air. They'll tell you why they don't want that person. So if they'll say to me, well, you want to sack Arteta, who the hell do you want then? Carlo Ancelotti. What? Look what he did at Everton. Okay. Simone Inzaghi. He plays boring football and he's not going to leave Inter Milan. Okay, then cool. Diego Simeone. He ain't won anything for 3 years. Okay. Xabi Alonso. He ain't going to leave Bayer Leverkusen. Might as well keep Arteta. It's the same ilk. Okay, then who do you want? Do you know what they say? Oh, some of experience like Ancelotti.
No, but they told us he's washed when he went to Everton. That's what they said to me. He's washed. That's why he went to Everton.
He's washed. He went to Everton. Do you know what he did with Everton, bruv? And do you know since he's left where Everton have gone? Plummeted, bruv. They finished 2 points behind Arteta. Ancelotti finished 2 or 3 points behind Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, the manager they all love. Yeah. And since he's gone and left Everton, they've been trying to employ people like Sean Dyche, Rafa Benitez, and David Moyes to keep him up. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't get this. Diego Simeone, he might be under pressure because it's been 3 years without a trophy. That's what it should be. But you know what? I'd take him tomorrow because his CV says, look at what I can do. That guy won stuff when Messi was on one side and Ronaldo was on the other. And he trounced both of them and trumped them and said, yeah, I know you got Messi and I know you got your Ronaldo, but I'm going to finish higher than both of you. Unbelievable what he's done. And Berta as well, to be fair, bringing in the players he's done. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want that combination at Arsenal. That, to me, is the next level. I think he's done a great job to get us challenging. I'm not denying that. I think he deserves all the praise in the world to get us challenging for a title. But it's time to go now to get us delivering because he can't deliver. He's shown time and time again. Since the FA Cup win, we won 2 games, bruv. One of them was Oxford. The other one was Palace. They're the only 2 teams we've beaten in 5 years in the FA Cup. We've lost all the others. Then you go to the League Cup. He's lost against teams like Brighton. He's lost against City and got trounced 4-1. He's lost yet again against the Newcastle side. This season, Manchester United in the FA Cup. Before that, it was Forest. Before that, it was Southampton. Why are we losing to these teams in the domestic trophies? Why is he throwing them all in the bin now? It's not like we're winning. We're winning them all the time. We don't need them. Then you look at the Europa League. We lost to Olympiacos. We lost to Villarreal. We lost to Sporting Lisbon. And then we get into the Champions League and we can't get across. Let's be real. A Bayern Munich side that really weren't that great, that Thomas Tuchel was leaving from. So in every single hurdle, we failed, bro. So why do people think we're going to go to the Bernabeu and turn this team over quite comfortably? I've seen. I think we can win this. I think we can win this whole competition. What, playing like we did against Chelsea with Mourinho up top? We ain't got a chance. They'll eat us up, mate. They'll absolutely eat us up. Who's scoring for us at the moment? Mourinho's flicking it on. We're getting Ethan, who now was suddenly all of a sudden be dropped for no reason. We're getting him as the only player that I have any sort of excitement about when he goes forward on the ball. Trossard, for me, looks like he wants to leave. Martinelli can't score at the moment, and he's only just come back. And then up top, you've got Mourinho. I mean, seriously, brother. And then you look to our bench, and like you said, you've got Kivior on it, or Jorginho, or Zinchenko, or Tierney, or Calafiori. They're either all defenders, defensive midfielders, or young kids that no one wants. or Sterling. I mean, everyone told me that was made the window a 7 out of 10 when we signed him. What are these people smoking, bruv? Like, real talk. When that window shut, North, I said, we ain't winning the league. How can you say that? Sterling might be brilliant. He might turn into that. I said, we ain't winning the league. What are you talking about? We've signed a midfielder to replace El Neni, yeah, Marino. We've signed a left back who doesn't look like a left back again, yeah? And we've signed Sterling, who was washed since 2019. How is that going to show ambition to win the league? And now what, we roll back to January and they're like, oh yeah, maybe it wasn't a 7 actually. Maybe well, it's all right because we'll buy someone in the January window now. And then we did nothing. Nothing. And there was no one available. Nobody available in January. Bruv, Kvaratskhelia went to PSG in that very same window. Yeah. Duran went to Saudi in that same window. Asensio and Rashford and Marlon all went on loan to Aston Villa. Look at them, by the way. The three of them have done really well at Aston Villa, by the way. And I didn't want Rashford at the time. Yeah. This is the problem. We go, oh, there's no way. And then I get told it's in the summer. Wait till the summer. There's a war chest coming. How many times have we heard that, North? Fucking hell, man.
It's a joke. When you look at it, yeah, most of the time, our defense has to do double the job. A lot of the times, yeah, getting us out of sticky situations are defensive players. Either Calafiori scoring a goal, Gabriel from set pieces, Declan Rice scoring goals, Moreno scoring goals. They're saving us more times than we're getting saved by Trossard or Martinelli or Odegaard or flipping Havertz. Because people tend to forget that Havertz was already on a bit of a goal drought before he got injured. And it's funny that people love to talk about Havertz, like, oh, but if we had Havertz, if we had this, we had that, bro. And the last 2 seasons, yeah, Mateta's been outscoring Havertz. Havertz hasn't even been in the top 10 goal scorers in the last 2 seasons. Mateta's outscored him. Bowen's outscored him. And Mbeumo's been outscoring him. Yeah, I'm saying Cole Palmer that is a talent, but he hasn't got as much experience as somebody like Havertz. He's been around longer, has been outscoring him. You look at a lot of other strikers and attackers around the Premier League, they've been outscoring this guy over the last 2 seasons. And people talk about, oh, if we had these players back, we'll bottle it just like last season. The one thing we've done, when people talk about Arteta and what he's done, look at where he's brought us to. No, do you know what Arteta's done? Arteta and the Cronkies have shown any ownership that are in football for money, come to the Premier League. Come to the Premier League, because this season, when Arsenal got their financial report, yeah, even though our wages went up by £100 million, we've only lost, what, £17.7 million. We're able to comfortably spend 300 to 250 million pounds in the summer. Don't have to spend it, yeah, because there's no presidents in England like Portugal and Spain that have to get voted in and have to be re-elected in based on what you actually do to accomplish winning trophies. So you can just be in the job, don't worry about it. The club is still going to make money. Tottenham make money winning nothing. Arsenal's been making money winning nothing. We redone all our sponsorship deals when we got Champions League football, and the revenue's going through the roof. The club was talking about expanding the stadium. There was not even an uproar that we're looking to expand the stadium. Potentially, there's talks of expanding the stadium, yet we don't have a bench to compete. We don't have a striker. The manager hasn't got over the line. But no, don't worry. We're going to spend more money in expanding the stadium. Don't worry that ticket prices are going up. Don't worry that we dropped 14 bits of merch this season. Don't worry that the kit prices are going up. Don't worry that everything's going up. It doesn't matter. But the actual football isn't improving. We are regressing. So if you're one of Stan Kroenke's friends that has an NBA team, or, well, if I was Stan Kroenke, I'd say come to the Premier League. The fans don't riot. There's no president. They can't get you out. Look at what happened with Mike Ashley. He left when he was good and ready. Look at Daniel Levy. They do 1-2 little protests. That's like, what, 10%, 15% of the fan base? The rest of them, they're happy. We just got a new Korean cafe at Spurs. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Just keep trusting the process. We're raking in the money. Come get your Korean coffee. Arsenal, don't worry about it, bro, because whoever comes up to question us, we've got our own personal army of lawyers, which is the actual fan base. They'll fight amongst each other. We'll raise ticket prices. We'll raise the merch prices. We'll get all these, ex-players that will get on board. And it's calm. We've already got some journalists that in our pocket. No worries. You'll make money. There's no repercussion here. Don't worry. Yeah, because nobody's going to get behind a protest, or nobody's going to call it out. No one's going to push for change. And anyone that does is going to get shut down. Get a team in England. You ain't got to deal with the crap that goes on in France or in Portugal, or in what happened with the Ajax fans smashing down their stadium because they had enough. You're not going to get any of that. Yeah, and it's just 0-0-0s. Actually, look at our good friends, the Glazers. That team, is on the verge of having to cut down flipping free lunches to be able to keep operating, and they're still taking dividends out of that club, and they're losing money. Yeah, doesn't matter. Are they protesting? Are they kicking off? Did they stop going to games? Nah, just come to the Premier League. Everything is acceptable here when you're in ownership. Yeah, the fans will fight within the fans, and don't worry. Just keep raising ticket prices. Get a new puppet. Once the first puppet is getting shot down, just get a new puppet. Make sure you give them the promises of nice football in Champions League, and we go again. And we go again, man.
Bro, the ownership are a disgrace, bro. But we're like Turkish says, we're all customers, right? Because that's what we are now. We all just turn up, we buy our merch, yeah, and we go next season. And look, I'm not being one of these people who says stop going to games, stop buying merch, because I've done it before, yeah. I personally don't feel. I think if you said to me now, bro, I've just heard Potts, 70,000 people that are going tomorrow. None of them are going in the shop. None of them are going to the game. They're all going to boycott. I'd be one of those people going, come on, let's do it. But you think I'm just not going to go to a game because you think Stan and Josh are going to go, I'm hearing Dan Potts ain't turning up. They'll just give my ticket to someone else because we've got 30,000 people waiting to get in the stadium. And their priority, by the way, is to expand, like someone said in the chat, expand our trophy drought, not expand our stadium and expand our trophy drought. Because that's what that will do, by the way. Yeah. Because you know what will happen? We've spent new money on the stadium. We haven't really got any money in January anymore. We're gonna have to have a bit of a shit summer because we've spent all of our money on the stadium. I don't want 100,000 people in my stadium. I don't care for that. I'd rather have 100,000 games won. That's what I would rather have. Trophies. Not bloody, oh, wow, have you seen our beautiful stadium and the fact that we've got all this history around the ground? What have you won? Oh, we haven't won anything for 20. We don't win anymore. We're just interested in making this place a tourist attraction. Have you gone and got your £15 hot dog? And have you gone and got your... What is happening here, man? This is... And it ain't just happening at Arsenal, by the way, like you say. But we're in a position now where we've got unbelievable amount of the fans that are so happy with what they're seeing. Because there's a section of the fan base that are used to 8th, 8th, and 5th, and they think that coming second is absolutely nothing more they can believe. Well, I've never seen this. This is unbelievable. We're taking Manchester City to the last game of the season. Like, come on, man. Like, this is poor. We haven't updated this squad and upgraded it for a while, and now we're going to potentially have to rebuild some of it. From phase one, where we started being told we needed to rebuild, we're having to rebuild the phase one squad now. And we haven't won anything in that 5 years. So people will say to me, oh, you wait till the summer. Gal was telling me about how Ben Jacobs has told us we're going to spend £300 million. Let's be excited. Have we not heard this before? I've heard this since the Cronkies come in, mate. Yeah? How can the Cronkies in 20 years have spent £200 million? £200 million of their own money in 20 years. That's a disgrace, bruv. They're billionaires. Yeah? Now, don't get me wrong. They've given Arteta a lot of money. Not them given, but they've allowed that money to be spent. But that's all self-sustaining stuff, man, because of the amount of money that we bring in. We rope an unbelievable amount of money. And this is where I'm at with the ownership, the board, and the manager now. And I'm just like, I'm sick and tired. And if it ends the way I think it's going to end this season, which is with nothing, I would remove the manager and I would bring in Simone Inzaghi or Diego Simeone or Carlo Ancelotti or somebody like that. But nobody wants that. Apparently, that would not be the right move because all the players would want to leave because they're only here for Mikel Arteta and all this crap. And you think, wow, there's a section of this fan base that want to build Arteta's CV up and they're putting Arteta and his CV ahead of Arsenal Football Club. And I think that's disgraceful, bruv.
No, facts, man. Facts. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. Like, I don't get where we're trying to go. Like, I seen a gal today as well. Tomorrow we're gonna have to do another clips video. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to because he was waffling today. I'm not that I'm surprised, but I just look at it, Dan, yeah, and I just feel like, bro, like, how can these men, yeah, sit there, the side of their mouth, yeah, be celebrating Berta when you never wanted Simeone? You didn't rate Simeone to come to Arsenal, but you wanted sporting director. Like, what? How does that make sense? I don't get it. Like, oh, Berta did well. Look at what he done. Look at what he won. Bro, he's not the one managing the team. He's bringing the players in. Cool, that's his job. He ain't managing the team. He was managing the team, or the person that was managing the team to make them successful, or to coach Rodri when he got him for 20, 30 million. Oh, that guy? Nah, we don't want him. He's rubbish. But the sporting director, oh, we'll take the sporting director. What? Does that make sense, bro? It doesn't even make sense because really and truly, Simeone coming into Arsenal would be a very similar situation with Atletico going up against Barca and Real Madrid. We have to go up against Man City and Liverpool. Very similar situations. We're not the richest, we're not the poorest. We ain't got the most history, certain players that will prefer a Liverpool and a heritage and being arguably the most successful team in the Premier League, 6 Champions Leagues, 20 leagues now. Some may not, may come to Arsenal for the payday. So it's a very similar situation. It's not like the manager wouldn't be in a situation where he hasn't taken a team that's looked at as more of the underdog in terms of the favourites to get over the line. Why would we not take Simeone? Oh, no, we don't like Simeone. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. This manager, I just don't. I'm sick and tired of this guy looking lost, looking clueless, looking like he has no idea, getting his back up every time he's asked valid questions in the press conferences. The way he's like, I never said I weren't going to get a striker, or I don't want to talk about the league title. It's still possible. It's still possible, and it's like, what baffles me is how the fan base want to move from at the start of this. Dan, don't say anything about Fabi Vieira. If the manager wants him, I want him. Dan, don't say anything about Lokonga. Yeah, we need these players because they're going to develop together. Oh, Dan, don't say anything about Project Youth and the fact that we're keeping in Nketiah, but then we got rid of Balogun, but then we brought in Marquinhos because Arteta is going to develop these players. Now that we've got to the crunch end of this system, none of this was his. The board, it's all the board. The board are the ones. They weren't saying this to me at the start of this process. You were telling me that he's going to develop these young players. That if Mikel Arteta has bought Zinchenko because he's pivotal to the way that we play football, he's going to get the most out of Jesus. He's going to get the most out of Kai Havertz. He's going to unlock Kai Havertz. Mikel Arteta has identified Moreno to unlock Martinelli. Sterling's come to the club because of Arteta's pull, because he worked with him at Man City. These men think I'm stupid. You feel that I want to fucking, but bro, you might want to gaslight me. You ain't gaslighting me. Because every single time we question these players, this is the bullshit excuses you lot brought to the table. When we're telling you why we're bringing Trusty, oh, we're developing him, we're developing Trusty. Oh, Runnison, we're developing Runnison. Oh, Ramsdale, we bought Ramsdale because he wants a ball-playing goalkeeper. That's why we bought him. Now, none of it's on Arteta. So what the fuck have you been saying for the last 4 or 5 years about this manager? You've been defending him in terms of his tactics and his player ID, but now all of a sudden it's all the ownership. It just don't make no sense to me, bro. Like, I don't get, which one is it? If Arteta wants him, I want him, or it's on the board. Because you weren't complaining about the board, and guess what? The first people to believe in the process was the board. The people that gave him a new contract this season was the board. The people that allowed him to break the transfer record for Declan Rice was the board. When we broke the transfer record for Declan Rice, they never said it's not an Arteta signing. They said we beat Man City. That's what they said, bro. Now, it's not on Arteta. Okay, so why did you praise Arteta when we bought Declan Rice? Because basically that wasn't an Arteta. Then you got to give that praise to the board then.
Move the goalpost, bro. They move the goalposts all the time, bro. It's those that said, oh, we're not going to be able to keep Arteta if he finishes below anybody but Pep Guardiola. Then the goalposts change. Oh, hang on a minute. He inherited the winning side. Why didn't they win under Klopp last year then? Why is it that whenever we want to change a goalpost, we change a goalpost? Oh, but Arnie Slot this, Arnie Slot that. Yeah, Arnie Slot, has been managing 2 years longer than Mikel Arteta. So how can you go from, I don't want any Liverpool players. There's only 2 or 3 players that get into a combined 11. I wouldn't want Arnie Slot as the manager. I want Mikel Arteta. If they finish ahead of us, they should sack Mikel Arteta. Then all of a sudden, we realise actually their squad is better than ours. They have got a definite better 11, and they have got a better squad. And then you look at it and you think Arnie Slot's come in and he's waltzed it. And I mean waltzed it. Yeah, 12 points clear. Crikey. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I don't want to say that it's Arteta's fault. So I'll have to blame. Who can I blame? I'll blame Klopp. I'll blame the refs. I'll blame VAR. I'll blame red cards. And I'll blame an inherited squad that's good enough to win the league. There we go. They're the reasons why. Right, next year it is. And then Patrice Evra's going next Netflix FC, and all of our Arsenal fans are going mad at it. How can the professionals and ex-legends of this club see it, and this fan base can't? And the minute that Emmanuel Petit calls it out, he's then negative and toxic. Yeah, this is a guy who's won a World Cup and a double at Arsenal. Then Thierry Henry comes out and says we need to see more from Mikel Arteta. Oh, he's just jealous of him. He just wants his coaching role. No, man, he's quite happy as a pundit. Trust me, yeah. He's all right. He's earning a lot. He gets to sit there next to Kate and flirt with her every day. He's not got a bad job, right? Yeah. But Olgie doesn't know because this is the best one of, in my opinion, it's Bergkamp. Everyone else thinks it's Henry. Cool. I'll have that debate all day long if you want. I'm not going to debate that he was or wasn't better. But he is, if not the best, one of the best we've ever seen. Definitely the Premier League GOAT and one of the best. Thierry Henry. And they're coming at him. Oh, I'm disappointed with the comments from Thierry Henry. I'm disappointed to hear that he's been. What are we talking about? Tony Adams says, I think they might have got it the wrong way around. I think Arteta would have been a good coach to start with, and maybe then they needed a coach like Emery to then take them across the line. Oh, he's negative, that Tony Adams. He doesn't trust the process. Hang on a minute. This is Mr. Arsenal who's been there and done it. We should be listening to these people, not slating them. Oh, it's very toxic listening to them. Man United do it with Roy Keane. Oh my God, Roy Keane is calling out people like Maguire and Bruno Fernandes and Pogba. He's so negative and toxic. It's because Roy Keane won an unbelievable amount of trophies, captained them to it, won trebles and titles and doubles. What are we doing here? Like, real talk, man. I think it's weird. It must be a younger generation of the fan base or something, because I don't understand how you can forget what Roy Keane did at Man United as a Man United fan all of a sudden. And how you can look at people like Petit, who's been there and done it and won it all in the game, Thierry Henry, Tony Adams. Paul Merson is another one. Oh, I must be pissed, Paul Merson again. Must be sitting on the gear. What? He's calling out the ownership and the manager. And you think he's pissed? He's absolutely bang on. Everything he's saying is true. It's facts. They don't want to hear it. So weird, bro. I don't understand this fan.
It makes no sense. Absolute facts, bro. Like, even with the unprecedented situations that we had this season. First of all, they say injuries. Dan, me and you remember Eduardo breaking his leg. We remember Ramsey, Aaron Ramsey with his horrendous injury. We remember Diaby when he used to be on the medical table all the time. You remember that time we went for a period where we always had about 4 or 5 players on the medical bench all the time. Injured. In the last 20 years, we've seen multiple players getting injured time and time again. We remember Fabregas, like literally a string holding his leg, bro, still balling out for us. And we had multiple injuries. We have had these injury situations at Arsenal. We had a time at Arsenal where we were just getting injury after injuries by the way that Wenger was, the way that he was playing players, or players being injury prone. You know, Diaby became injury prone. You know what I mean? Eduardo, horrific injury. Do you know what I'm saying? So injuries are part of football. We've always seen injuries. And even under this manager, people said a season or two ago, Saliba getting injured is why we bottled the league title. Okay, if one injury meant that we didn't have the rotation off the bench to have a centre-back, well, where was the rotation? Where was the foresight in getting a number 10 in case something happens to Odegaard? Oh, yeah, he got injured. Or Saka if he gets injured. Or flipping Havertz if he gets injured. We've already been in this situation when we look to the bench in the crunch end of the season and we don't have the quality on the bench. So it doesn't seem like it's an unforeseeable thing. Everybody gets injuries. Last season, flipping Liverpool had multiple injuries. This season, they had their main goalkeeper, Alisson, out, and they had Kelleher flipping in goal for how many games? Imagine if we had to do that with flipping our backup goalkeeper that's been trash every single time we've played him this season. You know what I mean? This is the thing. And then they say it's unforeseeable. No, it's not unforeseeable. The injuries is part of the game. Yeah, the problem is we always plan for the best and don't plan for the worst. That's what we do. We plan if everything goes to the way that we plan things to go. But you have to plan for the worst. You know what I mean? And then they're talking about, oh, yeah, but it's injuries and it's the fact that, you know, there was no quality in the market and this and that. Okay, but we could have got Santiago Jimenez. We could have got a Dovbik. We could have got an Ivan Toney. We could have got tried to go and get Bayena's release clause. That's 50 M's. We could have got Vitinha that I told last season. This guy's a baller.
Mate, baller.
But I don't know nothing
about. How can we go
football.
to Portugal and end up with Fabi Vieira instead of Vitinha, bro? What's going on there? That should be sackable offence from whoever recruited that. I tell you this now. Someone walks out of Porto and says that Fabi Vieira is the one we want, mate. He's suited to the Premier League. And you get Vitinha, who is a baller, by the way. Absolute baller. He looks like he could be like Luka Modric level good, mate. He is that good, that kid, man. He looks absolutely ridiculously good. And we walk out with Fabi Vieira. What the hell is going on, man?
Well, we go to Benfica and we get their left back. I know you don't watch Benfica.
No,
Grimaldo,
I don't.
Yeah, that's my second team. Grimaldo is Spanish. He left on a free, Dan. Yeah, and went invincible. On a free. This flipping Nuntavad, yeah, he wasn't rated in Portugal, which you man will say is a farmers league. If he's not rated there, why the fuck are we bringing him to the Premier League?
Yeah, facts,
why?
Bro.
Do you know what I'm saying? I would have told you as a Benfica fan, this guy ain't good enough. This guy ain't ready. Do you know what I'm saying? And I said it about Darwin Núñez when he came to the Premier League. Also, what do you think about Darwin Núñez? He ain't all that. He's decent in the Portugal league, but he ain't all that. Do you know what I mean? I said the same thing when it went to João Neves, yeah? He's a good player, but I don't think he's ready for the Prem. Just because he's producing out there for France doesn't mean he's ready for the Premier week in, week out. I've seen Shevchenko come to this league and not perform at this league. So you can be good in another league and not yet be able to cook in the Premier League. It's a completely different league. Do you know
Agile
what I mean?
Neves looks all right, though, doesn't he? I quite like him.
Good player. I just don't think he's ready for that jump to come to the Premier League. He's doing well
Yeah.
at PSG, but then
Yeah.
you see the French league and the Portuguese league is not that much. Like, it's not acres, you know what I mean? It's a lot closer in level in terms of leagues. But this is what I mean, Dan, yeah? I'm just sick of it, yeah, that these guys always backtracking everything that they're saying, oh, unprecedented situations. We knew that the bench wasn't good enough. This is the same fan base, yeah? I don't want to hear nothing about unprecedented stuff because you guys weren't believing in Zinchenko anymore. Why didn't we sell him? You guys didn't want Jesus anymore because you're done with the props of Jesus after telling us, me and Dan, that if we don't understand what Jesus brings to the table, it's not good enough. The same Jesus that offered the same as Lacazette, but you wanted Lacazette gone, yeah? The same Jesus that plays in the same style as Giroud, but Giroud was scoring 16 goals a season. Yeah, Giroud was doing 16 goals. He was scoring more goals. Do you know what I mean? And he actually turned up in big games for Chelsea. When is Jesus ever turned up for us? Do you know what I mean? When it was Giroud, he's not good enough for Arsenal. Plays with his back to goal, links up play. You know what I mean? Can ruffle up defenders. Not good enough for Arsenal. But as soon as it's Jesus, because he's brought in by Arteta, that's the kind of manager, that's the kind of footballer and striker that you want. These men move the goalpost depending on if they like the player or not. The same with this manager. You man never wanted Mourinho ball, but now you want to accept, a B-Tech Mourinho version of ball under Arteta. Makes no sense. Prime Mourinho, we're not going to take a manager like Mourinho. At Arsenal, nah, we'll never look at football like that. No, we have to play sexy football. Are we playing sexy football now? Are we playing sexy football now? Because when I grew up, we used to play the best football in England. It's a joke. They backtrack on everything they say, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that Lacazette was the answer. Giroud would have been good as a number 2. But don't tell me you don't like that style of striker, but then you're trying to sell me a Havertz and a Jesus. Don't tell me you don't like defensive managers like Inzaghi or Simeone, but then Arteta, when Arteta does it, it's the dark arts. It doesn't make sense, bro.
Well, look at the people behind me, man. Look at the people that have been on your backgrounds and your green screens, yeah? Thierry Henry's, Ian Wright, Dennis Bergkamp's, even Van Persie's and Aubameyang's, Alexis Sanchez's. This was the reason that everybody looked at Arsenal, whether you grew up in the Ian Wright and Merce days, whether you grew up in Bergkamp and Anelka days, whether you grew up in Henry days, Sanchez days, Aubameyang days. The reason you loved watching us was because of those players. And right now, we do not have them. We have Bukayo Saka, bruv. That is it. Because Martinelli and Trossard have fallen off of a cliff. Sterling is the backup to Saka and he's washed. And Kai Havertz and Jesus cost over £100 million combined, plus whatever the hell they're on a week, which I think is a combined £500,000 a week. And this is the output we get from them. Hardly double figures each. No more 25 goal a season striker. No more prolific striker. No more target man. No more pivotal player that gets you. We haven't even got a Giroud or a Lacazette now. Giroud and Lacazette were better than these. Aubameyang's better than these. Yeah? We have not replaced Aubameyang's goals or quality. We haven't replaced Lacazette. Jesus is worse than Lacazette. Yeah? Lacazette was actually getting player of this season under Emery. He was actually balling out for us. I remember him and Aubameyang together against Valencia in the Europa League semi-final. Those two were absolutely quality. Now,
Carlos Vela is better than both strikers we got right now.
Facts. So is Eduardo.
And no one remembers Carlos Vela. Did anyone say you got to back him? You got to get behind him. You don't know if you don't understand what Carlos Vela does. Yeah, you don't know ball. You know what I'm saying? Like Javi Hernandez as well, bro. You know what I mean? Little P at Man United. Nobody cried he was on the bench. Yeah, because he wasn't good enough to be the main man. They used to have Louis Sahar as well on the bench, bro. We used to say bare ballers. When you're in a winning team, people want to come to your club for a reason, and they will fight for their place. Do you know what I'm saying? I just don't understand why people have this. Oh, why would you want to sit on the bench? Loads of players have to sit on Bayern's bench or Barca's bench or Real Madrid's bench. Do you know what I mean? Or Juventus or Inter's bench, and they're happy picking up trophies. Ceballos is happy. A lot of times he holds bench for Real Madrid. I'm sure he's fine. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense, Dan, bro. Like, players want to win. Like, not every player, especially players like Saliba. And that's why, yeah, for me, if Saliba stays and Gabriel and Saka stays, all three of them are losers. All three of you are losers if you stay at this club. If we don't go out, sack Arteta at the end of the season and get a proven winner, and you guys re-sign a new contract, you're losers. And listen, I do hate to say it because this is the club that I did once love. I'm out of love with them now, but you're losers. I used to see Sol Campbell say, I came to Arsenal because I didn't see myself winning the league with Tottenham. That's how we used to be viewed, Dan. And now, yeah, why are players coming in? Oh, yeah, because Havertz, you're getting 260 a week. Zinchenko, you're getting 150. Willian, we gave you a big contract as well to come to Arsenal. Oh, check. Oh, you want to stay in London? No worries. We'll throw you the bag. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, David Luiz, you want to back? All right, we'll throw you the bag. In Ketia, Reece Nelson, your contract's running up. No worries, we'll throw you the bag. 1K? All right, cool. Okay, 100,000 a week. No worries, you got that. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. Do you know what I mean? Who else wants money? Who else? Oh, Rob Holding, you can stay here for years and years and years and take a pay and keep getting, because he's a good lad and he's good around the board and good around the place. Oh, fuck all that shit. El Nene, oh, you look like the BTEC weekend, the Egyptian weekend. Oh, you can stay here as well. We'll get you a new contract as well. You can bring out Turkish tea and Turkish delights. You know what I mean? This is what we do. We reward failure. And people wonder why people are here. Jesus, you're on 250. Odegaard, you're on 250. You're on 240. You ain't even won us nothing. Don't worry. 240, 240. This is what we do. And then we stand there like, oh, why are players here? Calafiori's coming. What's he on, 100K? Do you know what I'm saying? 100K for what? What's he done? Moreno's on 100K or so. What's he done?
Zinchenko, bro. Zinchenko's on 150. What the hell? It was on 20K at Man City, 150. You got players like, this is the thing. People don't get, I know you got a rap, right? But people don't get this. We were in a position when Mikel Arteta arrived where we were told that we've got a toxically negative squad and everyone has to be removed because Kolasinac and Mustafi and Socrates and David Luiz and Dani Ceballos and Willian are all on 200K plus or 150K to 200K plus. Now, wind it back 5 years or forward 5 years, sorry. We have players like Tierney, who I really like, but no one else does, on 175 a week. We've got Zinchenko on 150 a week. We've got Kai Havertz on 290 a week. We've got Jesus on 265 a week. And that's not even without touching the sides of the players like Jorginho, Thomas Partey that are now out of contract, and then going into the players that do actually want to be here, because half of them want to go out. So why are we in this situation where 5 years ago it was really bad and seen as an absolute waste and criminal by even Gazidis and Wenger, when now Arteta and the co have copied that with just different names? Zinchenko was on 20. What the hell did he do to go to 150? How can you get Kieran Tierney on 175 or whatever he's on from the Scottish League? What's going on here? So this is where I'm at, bro. I honestly, truly believe Mikel Arteta is staying. And I hope and I pray that if Andrea Berta does come in, that he is the most powerful voice. Because if they're not the most powerful voice and he stays and we have a summer like we've just had, I want the Cronkies gone, I want Arteta gone, and I want the board gone. And if they ain't gone, I'll have to sit back and football will just be a social for me. And it will just be work for me. Because I've still got a little bit of hope and pray that we can actually go, right, we failed here, boom, let's go do it. But I know it's false hope. It's the hope that kills you in this game, bruv. Why would I be sitting there for 20 years when the majority of that time these owners have been here? The process for them was let's get into the Champions League. The process was not let's win trophies. Now we're in the Champions League. They don't care about the money. Yeah? Look what money we spent to get into that Champions League. The money we spent to get back into that Champions League, whether it was under Arteta or Arsene Wenger, it was Lacazette coming in. It was Aubameyang coming in. It was Thomas Partey, Gabriel, Kieran Tierney, Erdegaard, Ben White, Tomiyasu, Ramsdale. And then what happens? We get Champions League football, and other than Declan Rice, it's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace of a window. I like Timber. Ray is a good goalkeeper, but wasn't a lot of money. Declan Rice, the rest has been a shambles, bruv. Absolute shambles. Mikel Merino, Kai Havertz, Norberto Neto. And then you've got bloody Sterling, Calafiori, who, by the way, I know what you think of this brother, man, but he ain't doing me any favours at all. I'm not a big fan of him so far at all. So that was what? That was going to tip us across the line.
No worries, Pots, yeah? Because Chelsea spent 1.5 billion. It's almost like when you spend money, there's a requirement to be successful. So why is it only when it's Chelsea spending money? Oh, look how much they spent. Look at what they're doing. Why is it everybody else? Look how much Man United spend. This fan base, bro, they backtrack on everything that they say, the majority of this fan base. You always look at your rivals and say, oh, but they spent this type of money. Look at where they're at. Okay, but look at the money that we spent. Look at where we're at. You compared us to Klopp. Well, Klopp spent less money and delivered the Champions League and was on to win the Premier League by now. What have we done? So don't tell us that it can't be done. But but look at the rivals. Look how much money they spend. Look how much money we spend. Honestly, bro, like I'm so done with this, man. Like Partey's leaving, and we've got Moreno as backup. We are regressing expeditiously the next season, bro. I'm telling you, this is done. Even the set pieces, we're not really. It's not even effective as it was at the start of the season. Teams are already working us out. Like, it's not as effective. I know Moreno scored a goal. It's not as effective, Dan, bro. They're working us out. We're being worked out, and we're stagnating. That's the thing. For me, we're just stagnating. And if you keep stagnating for too long, that's what dropped Wenger out of the top 4. Too much stagnation over a long period.
If we spend 250 or 300 this summer, he spent $1 billion. $1 billion with no trophies. Come on,
He's not been back, though. He's not been backed. He's not been backed. He's not been back. That didn't stop you guys, criticizing Lampard at Chelsea or criticizing Poch at Spurs. He wasn't backed with £1 billion, but you still said, "Oh, but what did he win?" Yeah, they're finishing above us to get Champions League spaces, but what did they win? What did they win? You lot never said context. Oh, it takes time. He needs to get his players. How can he compete? There's this manager in the league or that manager. I'm so tired. Dan, I just want the season to end, bro. I'll be honest with you. Yeah,
same.
I just want it to just wrap up, bro. For me, I just want it to wrap up. I'm done with it. I'd rather talk about Love Island or talk about just, I don't know, man, just something else, bro. Something else. Because there's always one energy from this fan base when it's our rivals. And when it's ourselves, oh no, but it's different for us. It's different. It's this, it's that, it's the referees. Bro, there was 2 decisions against Chelsea. Yeah? Trossard diving when Neto never even touched him. Did any Arsenal fan bring that up, bro? No, they didn't bring it up. No, they didn't bring it up. Partey with high studs, bro. Catches the Chelsea player. Did anyone bring it up? No. Why? Why? Because we won the game. And it's not something that sits the narrative in it. The narrative has to be, it's a decision against us. So we're not going to bring that up. Yeah. Even though our players are diving, high studs, it doesn't matter. We got the 3 points and the referees are against us. So we're not going to bring that up. I knew I've not seen one Arsenal fan, that's been complaining about referees bringing up those 2 decisions against Chelsea, bro. Because it's convenient not to. But then they want fairness in the game, Dan. They want fairness. They want fairness.
Bruv. We're always refereed differently, apparently. That's what we get told. Well, there's so many examples of reasons where we have not. Yes, there's some reasons which they've got wrong, but trust me, they've gone wrong against us as for us as well. I'm sick and tired of blaming everybody else, but just what is the root of the cause of the problem? Yeah, the root cause of the problem is the manager isn't good enough. The board have been inexperienced and clueless and let everybody down. And the owners are waltzing around America wondering what is their next little hobby. Basically, who we're going to try and help next? The Rams? Is it the Nuggets again? Is it the Colorado Rapids? I'm sick and tired of looking and praying that something will change. When I've seen this movie so many times, bruv, I've seen it. I keep saying it. I've seen Cool Runnings. It's one of my favorite films, but it don't end the way I want to end it.
That's
what I'm saying. Yeah. And I can keep watching it and watching it and watching it and believing that one day they will actually do that. And listen, at least they got it across the line, bruv. Well, I sat there and I'm like, I'm sick and tired of trying to look at the kind of movie to end differently. And I know how it ends. And it's going to end exactly how I knew. When that window shut and we got Sterling in, I went mental. And I did go a bit over the top. And people said it was a bit over the top. And all that, but I was so angry and pissed at this club. And it's ended the way I thought it would. Exactly the way I thought it would, bruv. And now people are going, yeah, right, maybe it won't. Maybe I hear you. Maybe I understand why you're upset. I don't want people to understand why I'm upset. I want to just see it. I don't want to have to get upset, bruv. I want to be saying that this summer, when it closes, right, North, it's in our window. We've got Isak, we've got Zubimendi, we've got Cunha, we've got Lookman, we've got a decent centre-half who can now cover for Saliba finally. We've got a left-back that can actually defend and attack. We ain't going to be saying that, bruv. We're going to be getting a couple of players in. Our summer's going to be Sesko, Zubimendi, and one of Cunha or Williams. We'll probably get that backup goalkeeper from Espanyol, John Garcia, who apparently Lee reckons is okay. That'll be it, bruv. That's not enough to win a league. Honestly, right? It's tiring, man. Tiring. We need about 8 players, North. We ain't going to get that. We'll probably get 4 if we're lucky.
Wait till January. That's what they'll say at the end of the window. Wait till January. Wait till January. You know what I mean? And then when we don't buy in January, well, nobody sells. Nobody sells in January. It's hard to buy. Nobody sells players in January. It's exhausting. Listen, big up, Dan, man. Shut your channel, bro. What you got coming up next, bro?
Come on, bro. Listen, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to North, man. He's putting out unbelievable content. Make sure you get him up to his next target. Yeah, football's 12th man. I'll be on at 9. I think you might be jumping on at some stage if you're still about. If
Yep,
not, no
yep.
worries. Got Lee coming on, Kenny Ken coming on, got DJB coming on, and Christian coming on. So it will be a good panel and be a good debate. Christian might not know what he's in for because he's a big Arteta lover, but you know, it is what it is. It'll be a good show and it'll be good banter. So yeah, man, 9 p.m. If you're not subscribed, come over and show some love. The next road is just hit 36, so I need 40 now.
Hey, come on, man. Now, do you know
on.
what? Yeah, no, wait, chat. Wait, we need the clapping emoji. Do you know why? Yeah, because honestly, yeah, you did it with integrity. You know, and that shows something about your character. You know what I mean? That you did it with integrity. You never sold out how you know, your love for your club and the standards that you got for your club. So you deserve it, Dan, bro. Real talk, man.
Thank you,
We
bro.
need more people like you to be growing on this platform, being honest, telling the truth, and talking about the uncomfortable conversations that people just, you know, a lot of this the fan base don't want to really talk about. So real talk, bro. Like, big up to you, man. You're smashing it. You know what I mean? I know you went full time around like 15, 16K, innit?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, about that. It's mad. It's blown up and it's been great. It's been hard work. People think it's easy. It's tough. Trust me. But the guys have been amazing. The community's building and everyone that comes on in the chat are just so great, man. They really are. They're all legends. Built a little community over there, 12 man now, and it's beautiful. And the people that come on are great as well. They're all great lads and lasses. So yeah, man, big up to you as well. You're smashing it. How you do this while you're juggling jobs is just so unbelievable, man. I have so much admiration for it because I know what it's like. And when I was going part-time and trying to juggle jobs, it was hard, man. So it's great to see you carrying it on, man. And you're doing great. If you look at what people are doing that are doing this full-time, they're nowhere near what you're doing. And you're doing it with other jobs, man. So big up to you and make sure you show North some love, man, because he deserves it, bro.
Nah, big up, man. Every single time. Listen, the link to Dan's channel, Football's 12th Man, is in the title. Make sure you're subscribing. You know what I mean? Go support Dan. You know what I mean? He does it full time. A lot of content. Absolutely smashing it. Great panels, different shows as well. You know what I'm saying? He's got the London shows. He's got different shows with different fans, Arsenal shows. And I will be on Dan's channel at 9 p.m. as well. So make sure you're subscribing because we will be there. Me, Lee, and a lot of others as well, Arsenal fans. So I'm sure it's going to be a good debate. Make sure you're supporting Football's 12th Man and subscribing to Dan Potts. Dan, love for jumping on, bro. Every single time.
Come on, bro. No, love, bro. I appreciate you having me, man. I'm sorry I was late, man.
Nah, man. It's calm, bro. It's calm. It's calm. I appreciate your time. You know what I mean? I appreciate your time. We are going to redirect to Carefree Lewis. I am jumping on now. So Northside Raid in the building on the way there. We're going to redirect now. Northside Raid. And I'll see you there in Carefree Lewis in literally a minute. Love.